Confirmation bias. How the brain launders coincidence into proof. Once the shame engine is running, your brain needs evidence to keep the story intact. Enter confirmation bias. The tendency to notice, remember, and explain events in ways that confirm what you already believe while discounting what doesn't. If you're convinced your ritual works, you'll start scanning for hits, smoothing over misses, and shaping every outcome into validation. That's not you being irrational. That's a default brain shortcut, trying to lower uncertainty. Here's the thing most people miss. Bias doesn't show up in one place. It shows up in three. First is selection bias, which filters what you notice. You'll screenshot the day a client pays right after your new moon ritual and scroll past the 2 quiet weeks where nothing happened. Second is attribution bias, which assigns causes. When you get a win, the ritual gets credit. When you get a loss, timing or blocked abundance gets the blame. Third is exposure bias, meaning your feeds show what performs. Testimonials spread. No change, posts don't. You end up sampling a highlight reel and calling it reality. Let me show you exactly how to puncture that loop with a hit, Miss Ledger. Before any ritual, pre-register a concrete prediction and a timeline. If I do X, I'll see Y by day 7. Then log both hits and misses every day. No metaphors. Did Y happen, yes or no? This simple fence stops goalposts from moving after the fact. If you define proof only after peeking at results, your belief will morph to fit whatever occurred. Pre-registration forces you to commit to criteria while your optimism is high and your excuses are asleep. Now here's where most people mess up. They narrate misses as secret wins. The client ghosted because the universe is protecting me. Maybe. Or maybe the proposal didn't match budget timing. If every path leads to validation, your belief is unfalsifiable. Unfalsifiable beliefs feel safe because they never lose. They also never teach. A belief that can't be wrong can't make you better. Run a micro-experiment to feel how seductive patterning is. Flip a coin 20 times, silently asking for heads. Notice the jolt on streaks. 3 heads in a row feels like flow, even though the odds say streaks are ordinary. That tingle is your pattern detector doing overtime. It's great for finding ripe fruit in a forest. It's terrible for assigning cosmic meaning to randomness. Next tool, base rates. Your brain loves stories where you're the exception, but typical frequencies are a reality check. If cold outreach reply rates in your niche are 2% to 5%, then one reply from 30 messages isn't stingy energy. It's the base rate. Use the base rate to set expectations, then improve volume and quality to beat it. Pair base rates with counterexamples. Actively collect 2 types of stories: people who succeeded without your ritual, and people who practiced it without success. If your theory can't accommodate both, it's not a theory, it's insulation. This clicked for a student when we ran an A-B on her own calendar. 2 weeks with rituals, same actions. 2 weeks without, same actions. Outputs were identical. Her take wasn't rituals are bad, it was the ritual didn't cause the result. She kept a 2-minute breath because it steadied her voice and dropped the metaphysics. Evidence over aura. Common mistakes to avoid. Redefining a miss as a lesson from the universe, sliding deadlines into divine timing, and using vagueness as armor. Vagueness survives testing because you can't test it. Swap, abundance is coming, for 2 paid inquiries in 14 days. Swap, energy shifted, for 2 replies from 25 messages, 4-day lag. Here's a quick win you can do today. Build a 1-page proof filter. Top, your pre-registered outcome and timeline. Left column, daily inputs, pitches sent, follow UPS, assets shipped. Right column, daily outputs, replies, calls, closes. Bottom, 1 disconfirming question. What else could explain this? Fill it in for 7 days. By Friday, you'll either have a case or a story. Add a bias interrupt to your most tempting cue. If testimonials spike your certainty, pair them with a 30-second card. Base rate? What would disconfirm this? What did I not count? Ask, answer, move on. It's a speed bump for certainty, not a journaling retreat. Finally, protect purchases with a decision quarantine. If a sales funnel claims energetic proximity will explode results, pause 48 hours. During the pause, write your day 1 for success metric, the refund trigger, and 1 alternative use of that money that has a base rate you can find. If the offer still beats the alternative on paper, proceed. If not, you just paid yourself to wait. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Make your beliefs earn their keep. Ledgers, pre-registration, base rates and counterexamples aren't anti-hope, they're pro-truth. The moment your proof can be wrong, your learning starts. Money Trap 1. Sunk cost spirituality and escalating commitments. Once confirmation bias has you counting only hits, the money trap snaps shut. The more you invest, time, cash, public identity, the harder it is to question the method. That's the sunk cost effect. After you've paid, quitting feels like wasting, so you escalate. You don't rethink, you upgrade. The $39 workshop becomes a $997 program, then a $5,000 mastermind promising proximity and nervous system expansion. If results lag, you're told you're close, integrating, or not stabilized yet. Translation: pay again. Here's the thing most people miss. Purchases don't just buy products, they buy identity. When you tell friends you're all in and post retreat photos and bracelet stacks, you're no longer a casual customer, you're a believer. Identity resists updating because updates cost status. Public commitments make it painful to pivot, so you look for reasons to continue. I just need the next level. This is my upper limit problem. Those phrases protect the investment, not the outcome. Let me show you exactly how escalation plays out. You start with a low-ticket course and feel a lift. Hope, community, a plan. Results are fuzzy, so you sign the bigger program for deeper embodiment. You do some tasks, hit ordinary roadblocks, and get told the breakthrough requires a container with tighter calibration. The high-ticket room provides energy, language, and urgency, which feels like progress. But when you check your scorecard, external outputs haven't changed: replies, calls, closes. Instead of reassessing fit, you're offered a VIP tier with direct frequency attunement. You rationalize: more skin in the game equals more commitment equals better results. Except outcomes don't shift, so the story morphs into integration takes time. Right as the next card opens. Microstory. A client bought a $3,000 program with a 30-day refund. The content was recycled slides. The group was quiet. She felt doubt, asked for help, and was told to honor the frequency of commitment and avoid scarcity retreats. She stayed 3 extra weeks to be a match, missed the refund, and then felt too ashamed to leave because quitting lowers your vibration. That's sunk cost dressed as spiritual discipline. Now here's where most people mess up. They evaluate past costs, not future value. Sunk costs are unrecoverable. The only rational question is, knowing what I know now, if I discovered this today, would I still buy it? If the answer isn't a clear yes, stop. That's your cost-benefit reset. To make it stick, install a decision quarantine. When urgency spikes, count down timers. 1 seat left. Doors close at midnight. Pause 48 hours. During the pause, send a 1-paragraph brief to an outsider. The promise, your current data, how you'll measure success by day 14, and the refund policy in writing. Outsider eyes cut through sales language your hope won't. The game changer nobody talks about is how price inflates perceived value. Higher prices boost expectation, which boosts felt impact, even when content is similar. That placebo-like bump then retro-justifies the spend. It's not that you're foolish, it's that context alters experience, which is why you pre-register outcomes before you pay. If this is worth $2,000, I expect X deliverable in Y weeks that leads to Z measurable change. No deliverable, no ROI, just vibes. Use this anti-escalation checklist before any spiritual business purchase. What specific problem does this solve that my existing materials can't? What base rates exist for results like the ones promised? What is the measurable deliverable, and by when? What evidence is offered beyond handpicked testimonials? What's the refund path, in writing, and how do I trigger it? If answers are vague, the value is likely community, mood, and narrative. Fine if you name it and price it accordingly. Dangerous if you're expecting revenue. Add a stop-loss rule. Decide the maximum spend or time you'll invest in any approach before mandatory review. Put the threshold on your calendar. When you hit it, run a cold review. Are promised changes visible, or are you collecting reasons to keep going? If you catch yourself saying, I just need the next level, you're in escalation. Watch for identity invoices. I'm not a quitter. Integrity means finishing. I follow through. Those are good values misapplied to sunk costs. Integrity is updating beliefs. When evidence changes, following through is for commitments still producing value, not for plugging holes in a sinking boat. Handle urgency funnels by changing context. No buying on mobile. No purchases inside webinars. No decisions after 8 p.m. Sales environments narrow thinking. Slow environments widen it. Create a sales spells, email filter, so timers and bonuses land in a folder you review weekly with your decision rules visible. Finally, remember, even free rituals have costs: time, attention, and the opportunity cost of not doing what works. You don't escape the money trap by avoiding credit cards. You escape by measuring value against base rates, pre-registered outcomes, and your scorecard. If the practice can't clear that bar, spend your budget on skills, distribution, and assets you can ship. That's how you keep hope and stop renting it. Money trap 2, opportunity cost and the confidence mirage. Even when you're not swiping your card, you can still be paying through opportunity cost. Every minute spent visualizing, journaling, or scripting is a minute you didn't spend on high-yield moves like building assets, making offers, or talking to people who can say yes. The trap is it doesn't feel like avoidance. It feels productive because your mood lifts. That's the confidence mirage. You feel closer to the goal without moving closer in the real world. Here's the thing most people miss. Outcome imagery can blunt drive. When you vividly picture the payout, holding the check inbox full of yes, you get a dopamine bump now, which makes the grind feel less urgent. Process imagery does the opposite. When you rehearse the first email, the question you'll open with, the price line you'll read, and then pause, you prime execution. If your ritual ends with better feelings, but 0 verbs on your calendar, you've traded action for ambience. Let me show you exactly how to flip it. Trade vision time for velocity time. Set a daily 15-minute block where you move 3 dials. 1 outreach, 1 improvement, 1 follow-up. Outreach is a tailored pitch with 1 clear ask. Improvement is tightening a headline, clarifying a scope line, or cutting fluff from a case study. Follow-up is a short, respectful nudge with a single next step. When the timer ends, log outcomes. Sent, replied, booked. That scoreboard turns mood into momentum. A micro-story to make this concrete. A copywriter I coached did 20 minutes of scripting about premium clients every morning. Felt great. No leads. We kept a 2-minute breath and replaced scripting with a velocity block. Research one company for 5 minutes. Write a 3-sentence pitch anchored to a metric. Send it. Log it. 10 days later she had 4 replies, 1 paid test, and a clear red on which angles landed. Her confidence rose because something external moved. Now here's where most people mess up. They confuse clarity with progress. A 2-hour clarity session can feel transformative while changing nothing outside your head. Keep clarity, but cap it and pair it. For every 10 minutes of clarity, schedule 20 minutes of execution tied to that clarity. If your insight is, I serve B2B SaaS founders, the paired action is 5 tailored messages to founders with 1 offer line. No offer, no clarity. Run a quick audit today. Open last week's calendar. Count blocks that show outbound effort. Messages sent, assets shipped, calls booked, versus rituals, research, and prep. If output is missing, you weren't manifesting, you were stalling. Don't shame it. Route it. Move one ritual you love into a pre-action warm-up. 2 minutes of breath, then send the first pitch. Tie soothing to doing. Here's the shortcut nobody teaches. Build an action board that kills friction. 3 columns, next 5 actions, people to contact, timelines. Every card starts with a verb and a time box. Email Maya, case study ask, 10 minutes. Revise headline, A or B2 versions, 20 minutes. Apply to listing, attach tailored sample, 15 minutes. When a card moves to done, you get a small win that compounds. Use a one-touch rule during velocity time. If you open a draft, you either send it or schedule the exact minute, you'll finish it within 48 hours. No endless polishing to chase a feeling. Perfection is a vibe, shipping is a result. Common mistakes to avoid. Counting prep as output. Watching trainings isn't outreach. Reading about pricing isn't pricing. Label blocks by result. Sent, shipped, asked. Batch fantasizing. Long future self sessions without a bridge become entertainment. Micro bridget. Future self closes. Present self drafts the ask now. Hiding in design. New fonts feel busy. Unless it ties to a measurable lift. Readability, load time, conversion, park it. Quick tool. The 2-1 rule. 2 minutes regulate. 1 micro WOP. 0 delay. WOP. Wish. Send 1 pitch. Outcome. Book a call. Obstacle. Urge to tweak website. Plan. If urge hits, send pitch first. Then act before you negotiate. The reason this works is simple. Evidence recalibrates belief faster than affirmation. Your nervous system trusts. I sent 10 messages and got 2 replies more than I am abundant. Evidence also reveals bottlenecks. If replies are low, test subject lines. If calls don't close, rehearse your price line and add a silence beat. Affirmations can't show you where the pipe is clogged. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Confidence you can spend is built by doing, not declaring. Keep ritual as a runway. Settle your body, aim your attention, then move the smallest lever that touches the outside world. That's how you turn hopeful energy into outcomes you can count. Emotional bypass, when high vibe only becomes avoidance. Let's talk about the glue that keeps all the other traps stuck, bypassing. High vibe only sounds like optimism, but watch what it does in real time. If anxiety, anger, or grief show up, and the rule is don't feed low vibes, you'll start dodging your own nervous system. Avoided emotions don't vanish, they reroute behavior. You ghost the hard email, delay the price line, and call it divine timing. That's not alignment. That's avoidance with glitter. Here's the thing most people miss. Emotions are information, not morality. Anxiety flags uncertainty or risk you haven't planned for. Anger points to a boundary you need to set. Sadness marks a loss that needs adjustment. When you suppress these signals to stay positive, you lose your dashboard. Then you steer blind and call the skid a sign. Why this matters for performance? When you fear negative states, your body treats them like threats. You get fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Fight looks like arguing with feedback. Flight is procrastination. Freeze is doom scrolling and calling it research. Fawn is over-delivering for free to avoid conflict. If you've ever said, "I'll send the pitch when I feel more aligned," that's often freeze or flight dressed as spirituality. Regulation helps, if it serves action, not avoidance. So how do you use feelings without getting hijacked by them? Reframe them as data and add a 2-minute check-in. 3 buckets: body trigger, urge. Body, name sensations, tight chest, hot cheeks, clenched jaw, fluttery stomach. Trigger, what happened right before the spike, price objection, late invoice, rejection email. Urge, what you want to do, hide, explain, fix, attack, please. Labeling each bucket gives you handles. The intensity drops when the nebulous becomes specific. Let me show you exactly how to use it in a money moment. You open a message. We're going with someone else. Body, stomach drop, shoulder tension. Trigger, rejection. Urge, close the laptop. Label it, rejection plus freeze. Now pick a short regulating move to get your prefrontal cortex back online. Inhale 4, exhale 6 rounds. Or a 30-second cold water splash. Or 5 slow pursed lip exhales. This isn't a spiritual certification ritual. It's a reset. Then ask one behavior question. What microaction respects the signal? Maybe it's a 1-line feedback request. Maybe it's logging the no and moving 1 card on your action board. Regulate to execute. Microstory. A consultant policed her mood like a hall monitor. If she felt scarcity, she paused outreach to not transmit lack. Leads dried up. We kept a 2-minute breath and added the 3 buckets before her velocity block. One day she labeled anger, scope creep, urge to fawn. Instead of adding work for free, she sent a neutral boundary email with a paid add-on. The client accepted a smaller scope at the current rate. Revenue held, stress dropped. No vibes required, just information used well. Common mistakes to avoid. Treating regulation as a delete key, forcing gratitude to smother fear, and bypassing with productivity. Yes, grinding can be bypassed too. If you stack easy tasks to avoid one hard conversation, you've swapped one anesthetic for another.